Hey there, young inventors and parents. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to jump right into a really fun interactive story called Professor Pumpernickel and the Wobbly Truth of Robobot. So let's step inside this highly secret laboratory together and see exactly what kind of wild science and surprises we can uncover.
But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever made a giant, maybe even glittery, mistake? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The kind where you accidentally spill something, or maybe break something, or just make a massive mess, and suddenly you get that tiny, heavy knot in your stomach? And then comes that overwhelming urge to just, well, hide it? We've absolutely all been there. Well, today, we're going to see what happens when a tiny little mistake in a super science lab turns into a totally colossal one.
All right, Section 1, The Secret Super Lab. Meet Professor Pumpernickel and Robobot.
Beep boop whir. Just picture this, a super cheerful scientist bouncing up and down, complete with wild hair and safety goggles. His lab is just echoing with the mechanical whirring sounds of pure success. Why? Because his ultimate masterpiece is almost done. It's a towering metal giant named Robobot, who can sing, dance, and get this, even make toast. The professor shouts, "Eureka!" and plops down a glowing bottle of purple super-duper glow spray right in the middle of his work table. I mean, it's glowing, it's purple, it is practically begging to be used. But then, the professor turns his back for just 1 second to grab his wrench.
Which brings us to Section 2, The Glittery Disaster. Leo's curiosity takes over.
Psh, psh, kaboom, sap pop sparkle. Okay, here's what happened. While the professor is looking away, this clever kid named Leo sneaks in. He originally wanted to help clean up, but then he spots that shiny, glowing purple bottle. And Leo thinks, hey, I wonder what happens if I spray just a tiny bit on Robobot's nose. So he presses the nozzle. But, uh-oh, he doesn't just spray the nose, he slips. And as he falls, he squishes the entire bottle. It is a giant, cartoon-sized explosion of purple glitter and smoke shooting absolutely everywhere. Total, utter disaster.
I mean, talk about a before and after. Before the accident, Robobot was this magnificent, pristine machine made of shiny silver metal and bright, colorful buttons. But once that purple smoke finally clears, oh boy, the robot is now bright, neon purple, completely covered head to toe in giant polka dots, and is literally as sticky as chewed-up bubblegum.
So now we're at Section 3, Space Monster Excuses. Hiding the empty bottle.
The smoke clears, and the professor spins around in absolute shock. He drops his wrench, gasping so loud that his safety goggles fly right off his face. He yells out, "Great galloping galaxies, who did this to my masterpiece?" Now look at Leo. Is he sweating? You can practically hear his heart beating a mile a minute. The panic is totally setting in because he is terrified of getting in trouble. So what does he do? He quickly shoves that empty purple bottle right behind his back.
Sweating bullets, Leo just blurts out this wild, crazy excuse. An invisible space monster must have zoomed through the window, painted the robot, and zoomed away. He says it with so much panicked, frantic energy, just crossing his fingers and hoping the professor will actually fall for it.
An invisible space monster? Seriously? Come on, kids. Do you actually believe Leo right now? Yeah, I didn't think so. It definitely doesn't sound like the truth to me, and the professor thinks it's a pretty unbelievable thing to happen in his lab too. This is a huge reality check for Leo's conscience. He knows he's fibbing. And the thing is, in this specific laboratory, fibs have a very, very funny way of revealing themselves.
And that leads us to Section 4, The Wobbly Truth, a fib in the lab. All of a sudden, Leo starts stumbling around, yelling, "Whoa, why are my feet dancing? I can't stop wobbling." This is what the professor calls the wobbly truth dance. It's just classic laboratory physics, really. Keeping a secret makes your boots fill up entirely with bouncy bubbles. You physically can't stand still when you're hiding something. It's actually a brilliant way of showing how heavy and awkward it feels inside when we aren't honest. Your body just wants to literally bounce that secret right out into the open.
Now, the professor is a brilliant scientist, but he's also a really understanding friend, so he knows exactly what the cure is. He looks at Leo and gently says, "The only way to stop the wobble is to speak the truth out loud. You can't outrun the bouncy bubbles, and you certainly can't wish them away. You just have to step up and be brave."
So let's help steady Leo's bouncy feet. On the count of 3, I want you to shout this as loud as you can. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Tell the truth!
Taking a massive, brave breath, Leo finally just lets it all out. I made a mistake, and I got scared of getting in trouble. I am so sorry, Professor. And you know what? The absolute second he tells the truth, with a magical poof, his feet completely stop wobbling. That horrible, heavy knot in his tummy vanishes, and he lets out this giant sigh of relief.
Now, if you thought the professor was going to be furious, think again. He is thrilled that the truth worked. And as for Robobot, listen to this. In this big, booming, funny robot voice, it says, "Beep boop, polka dots are actually pretty cool. Error fixed." Turns out, the mistake wasn't the end of the world at all. Robobot actually kind of loves his wacky new look.
That brings us to our final section, number 5, the inventor's code, fixing the mess together.
Instead of yelling, the professor just hands Leo a sponge and some soap, and they start scrubbing down the messy lab together as a team. The lab's secret inventor's code gives us some awesome takeaways here. First off, accidents happen to everyone. It's literally how we learn and invent. Second, honesty is absolutely the best tool in your toolkit, and it fixes messes way faster than any spray bottle ever could. Hiding a problem or making up imaginary space monsters, well, that only makes the problem bigger. And finally, telling the truth keeps your heart light, happy, and totally free of those uncomfortable, bouncy bubbles. Sticking to this inventor's code will always guide you in the right direction, no matter what kind of experiment you're running in life.
Well, we've reached the end of our explainer for today. So I just have to ask you, what will you do the next time you make a giant glittery mistake? Will you invent an invisible space monster to take the blame, or will you use the most powerful tool in your toolkit and tell the truth? Keep imagining, keep playing, and keep learning, my brilliant young inventors.